What's up guys, Balisongs here. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is the long-awaited LDY model comparison video. So in this video, we will basically be comparing all three of LDY Balisongs models. So if you don't know by now, LDY is my sponsor and I have been lucky enough to receive every single one of his products. And today we will be going over all three of them, all their specs, how they compare to each other, and all different types of ways. So that is up for this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, before we start, let me just introduce y'all to the models if you haven't heard of these before. So this one is the LDY Orion. This is a trainer blade, but I do also have a live blade, but I decided to put on a trainer blade for it. This one is the LDY Cygnus live blade, but also comes with a trainer blade. And this is the LDY Sirius V3, also live, comes with a trainer blade. So in terms of price, let's start with the price point because that's what people mostly are interested in. Let me put these in order, right? So the Orion is the cheapest. This is one that goes for about $99 US. So a really good budget balisong, comes with both live blade and trainer in the same price. Really good. Now this one is a Sirius V3. This one comes for this is more like mid-tier range, comes in for a price of about $240 US, maybe with shipping and different colors. It might vary a little bit, but nothing more than 280, I'm pretty sure. So that is the second model. And this one, the LDY Cygnus, is more of the high tier stuff. This one comes in for about 400, I'm pretty sure 470 or 460 US dollars. That is including shipping and also live and trainer blade. So let's go over the size of these. Let me just compare all of these right next to each other, put the handles at the same bit. Let me line these up with these tiles real quick. I think that's a bit easier to compare. So if you line it up with the tile, as you can see, they are all about equally long here, both trainer and live blade, because the live blade from the Orion and the trainer blades of these two are equally long as the live blade. So these are all equally long. Not sure how long exactly, but I do know that the Sirius V3, and therefore all of these, is the exact same length as the Kraken from Squid Industries. So for reference, you can just compare it to a Kraken. Now in terms of balance, this one is a bit more on the blade side, more of a blade bias because of a bit of a heavier blade compared to the small thin aluminum slabs. I actually just cut myself at the Sirius because the thing is a razor blade. So yeah, a bit more on the blade bias because of the thin aluminum slabs. And when we go to the Sirius, it is about the same. This one's a bit more neutral though. The handles are a bit thicker as well near the bottom. And then we have the LDY Sirius, which is also pretty neutral. All right, let me just get this cleaned up. I'll be right back. Would you look at that? LDY Balisong band-aids, perfect for when you get a cut from these razor sharp blades. All right, let's get on with the rest of the video. All right, so I don't know if y'all have seen my reviews videos about all these models. I've done a separate review video about all of them, and I've also showed what's in the package of these. They all come with the same stuff. So they all have a pouch, a cleaning cloth, band-aids, and some spare hardware, and then obviously a live and a trainer blade. So no matter which one you get, you will get... Okay. You will get a shit ton of goodies with this as well. Now I have a lot of people asking me in my Instagram DMs like which one of LDY models would I highly recommend getting, and like which one should I get, you know? And that's a very tough question. It kind of just depends on what your goals are with that certain balisong and what you want to spend on, of course. So it all depends on your budget. As we already said at the beginning, they do have a difference in price range, right? But it's also coming down to whatever your goal is. See, this Cygnus is the most expensive one. Obviously, because I'm sponsored, I got this one for free, and I don't want to harm this. I don't flip this over concrete much, and if I do, I have my my mats here just so I don't damage it. I don't want to scratch it. I don't want to beat it. I don't want to do anything with that. I want to keep this thing as mint as possible because it just looks so clean, flips amazing. But yeah, I just want to keep this thing as clean as I can. Now this one is a bit more on the beating side. Well, not on the beating. This one I kind of also want to keep clean, just like the Kraken, but I feel like over a certain amount of time I will probably start beating it. But as long as I can keep it clean, I will. But the same thing happened with the Kraken. Over a certain amount of time I started to drop it more and started to care less. So but this one right here, I knew from the start I was gonna beat it, because I wanted to get a trainer that I can just bring outside now that summer starts, and I can just flip whenever, you know, whenever I want and however I want. I don't have to worry about tolerances or cosmetic damages. I think the main thing you have to look at first is your budget. Are you just someone who is starting out and maybe has like a tighter budget, or someone who is starting out and doesn't even want to spend much money on a Balisong just because you're not sure whether you want to get into the hobby as much as you do or as much as you think yet? You just want to kind of have like a small investment in it and then see for yourself whether you like it or not. Then obviously the Orion would be the best choice, because this is the best quality trainer slash live blade on the market right now for less than $100. I've already made a review about this, so go ahead and check that out. Then this one is probably the best for you. If you're looking for something more like midterm but don't want to be, you know, getting a Kraken like everyone is doing nowadays, or anything that's like pretty common in the mid tiers, then I think a LDY Sirius is going to be great for you, because this one compares to the Kraken in many ways, and in some ways I even think it is better. But I can't really compare it with the newest Krakens because mine's only a V1. But I think this one definitely ticks all the boxes of a really quality performance flipper for a mid-tier price. And then obviously this one, if you are looking for more like a grail type of knife, or if you are just someone who has like a higher or bigger budget, who doesn't care about, you know, spending a bit more money on something and then beating it up, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's just whatever you feel comfortable with spending. Because I do know people who even beat tsunamis from Squid Industries who are, I think, like 1,000 or more on secondary, and they just beat it up because, you know, they want to just flip it whenever they want to. So it all comes down to how much you want to spend and what is your goal with it. Because I wouldn't personally spend, like, let's say $400, $500, $600 on a knife just to kind of like ruin it over concrete. I just know I would feel bad for it myself, so I wouldn't do that myself. If I were to get a new Balisong, if the intent was to flip it outside and have the possibility of beating it over concrete or hard floor, I would probably just get something mid-tier. Or, of course, something like this, like the Orion. But yeah, so it all comes down to that. And yeah, LDY models have never failed to disappoint me in any way. These are all really good trainers slash live blades, flippers just in general, and I could highly recommend each and every single one of these. So even though the premise of this video was to compare all these three models with each other, in some ways you can compare them, as I just did, but in other ways you really just can't, because obviously the higher the price, the more money goes into production. So like a Cygnus, you know, with the G10 and the titanium or the aluminum, I'm not sure what it is, you know, the spacers, the design, the grip, the, you know, the blade and everything, the ergonomics, you can't really compare it to something that can be manufactured at a much lower cost. Like, yeah, it's from the same manufacturer, but there's a lot less money going into this one, into the production of this one. So obviously in order to be able to even sell this at this low price, you know, they don't have to spend so much time in production for these, and therefore you could argue that this one is worse than the Sirius. Now, not to say that this thing is bad, definitely not. I actually love this a lot. I don't know how LDY manages to keep the price low for something like this, because I've seen trainers like that go for much less or for more money that are just worse in many different ways. Not to fire shots, but you know, the Triton from Squid Industries is like what, 100, 120 or something, or same as the Mako, which is like 90, and these are not even on bushings, and they're, you know, they're for losing tolerances quick, they get beat up quick, and you know, they just can't compare to something like this. So to answer the question that I get a lot in my DMs, which one of the LDY's models should I get? Starters, performance flippers, grail type, but also performance flipper. It's up to you. This one is more for me personally, outside, concrete, beating up, doesn't matter. You can also keep this thing clean and, you know, mint if you want, but probably a lot of people would go for this one if they just want to get something for outside and to beat. This one here, right here, Sirius, this is more mid-tier performance stuff. Can also take a good beating. That's what I did with my Sirius V2. Could take a good beating, keeps tolerances, flips amazing, does what you want it to do perfectly, and you don't have to worry about too much about beating it, because, you know, it's not the biggest investment either. And then last but not least, the Cygnus. Depending as well on your budget, you might feel bad after beating this for a bit, maybe not, doesn't really matter. If you're looking for something more high-end, top-tier stuff, great flipper, but also really aesthetic looking and just overall just great production, then this is the one for you. One more thing I gotta mention, though, a lot of people in the comments ask me always, where can I get any of these LDY models? These are available on his Instagram. You gotta follow him. He does like drops, but he also has some sponsored members like Def Flips on Instagram. I'll put a link to his page as well down in the description. He is a USA flipper who is sponsored by LDY, who does drops. What the fuck? Turn off your goddamn speaker, brother. But Def Flips is a USA Alright, I'm moving inside. Can I finish my sentence? Okay. Def Flips is a USA flipper, sponsored by LDY, who does drops. So basically LDY ships a whole batch of these, whatever, to him, and then he does a USA drop, and people can buy directly from Def Flips, and then he ships them over to the USA people. I'm not one of those guys for the EU. I'm just a sponsored member. I'm not doing any drops, but maybe in the future we can. I don't know what the plans are from LDY, but basically if you you just gotta follow him and Def Flips and maybe some other people as well who he sponsors. They do drops often, so just keep an eye out for their posts, and then whenever they do a post, you just gotta DM them or comment on their post, and then you can take it from there. I'm pretty sure Cygnus and Sirius drop more often than the Orion. I think there's only been like one Orion drop so far, so really hard to get these now. Sirius is a bit more common, both the V2 and the V3s, and then the Cygnus is also pretty common, but I think the less common than the Sirius, and then this one being the most rare, I guess, by now. So yeah, that's how you can get these. They don't have a website yet. I have proposed to LDY, so maybe in the future he will build a website, but for now, not yet. Okay, what the fuck is my neighbor doing? Anyway, so yeah, just go over to his Instagram. You can always send him a DM saying, when do you have a new drop, or do you still have one in stock? I don't think he always does, but there's no harm in asking. So if you're looking for one of these, just go follow him on Instagram. Maybe even turn on his post notifications, and yeah, just stay up to date and see if he posts something about a drop. And yeah. And so yeah, that pretty much wraps up the video. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are brand new, and yeah, without further ado, I hope to see you guys in the very next one. Peace.